Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am bringing you 7 different DIYs from the Dollar Tree, and we're gonna get started right away with this foam board. You know you can get foam board at the Dollar Tree, and I've been loving working with foam board. It's just so much fun, and you can just create so many things. So what I'm doing here is something extremely simple anybody can do, and it's just some triangle trees. I've created several throughout the Christmas season, and these I decided to make more with a wintry farmhouse look. So I'm just going to cut this piece of leftover foam board to fit the larger triangle of the two. I'm going to make 2 of them, a larger and a smaller one. And as you can see, I'm just cutting, I think it was like 6 inches or 5 inches. I can't remember. But nonetheless, whatever size you want to create. And I'm just using my X-Acto knife from Artisa, and I'm just going to cut. Once I had both triangles cut to the size that I wanted, I'm going to use this Dollar Tree dusting mop, and I am going to just hot glue the piece of foam board right onto it. Basically, I just want to cover the front of the trees with this fuzzy white fabric that it has, and it just gives it a little bit of more of a wintry snow-like effect. And so it is kind of messy working with it, but in the end it gives you a great, beautiful look. So what I'm doing here is I'm just removing any excess, and then anywhere where a lot of the fuzzies came off and it was just a little too bare, no big deal. I'm just hot gluing some of the little fuzzies that fell, and then I'm just going to trim it, making sure it looks nice and groomed. And I'm going to do the same thing with the larger one. Once I had the trees all trimmed and ready, I am now going to hot glue them to a couple of these Dollar Tree stems, and that's it. I mean, can you talk about easy? Anybody can make these. I mean, all the supplies were from the Dollar Tree. I absolutely love the way these turned out. So easy, so cool. And tell me what you think about these little trees. I wanted to place them first because I think it's like the easiest DIY out of all these 7. And I just wanted to start with something very simple that anybody can do with very minimal supplies. Another quick reminder, guys, that starting next month, I am going to switch my post days to Sunday, Tuesday, Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Best way to make sure you do not miss any of my videos is to make sure that you are subscribed. So if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you go down and subscribe now. And if you don't have the notification bell hit, make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Alright, so for this next DIY, I am going to take one of these jars from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the lid. I am now going to take this leftover knob from an old dresser that I work on, and I am going to hot glue it as well as E6000 it onto the center on the top. Once that is fairly dry, I am going to then start painting it using this Dixie beautiful green tone in the kutsu green. I'll have their link down in the description box. It is beautiful. Dixie sent me this paint, and I used it to redo what did I do? Oh, a little table, and then a couple other things here and there, but I just love the tone, and the coverage is phenomenal. So I'm just going to give it 1 coat. Actually, I think it was about 1.5. I just went back after the first coat was dry and just filled in a few little spots, but it didn't need much. Too much time thinking in the Alright, so while the lid is dry, I am going to take this little chalkboard. It used to have like a little like steak pick, like I just removed that. It's from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue it right to the front of the jar. And now I'm going to take some Dollar Tree jute twine and I'm going to wrap it around the top of the jar and making sure that it's not going to overlap where the lid is going to screw on. And that's it. I'm just going to make a very simple knot. I contemplated doing a little bow, but I think it just looks simpler and just nicer with a simple knot. Cut the excess. I'm going to add some of these beads just because I just love the tone of them, and I just have plenty of them. Now I'm going to place the lid, and look how beautiful this jar looks. I mean, it could be used in the bathroom with cotton swabs or just whatever you want, and it's just beautiful. I love that green. You're going to see that green here a couple of more times, but I really love the way this turned out. Hey guys, so I do want to tell you about something new that I am bringing to you on the new year, and it's going to be some monthly printables that I'll be emailing out to any viewer who would like to join our email list. I do have a link down in the description box where you just click and enter your email and you'll be entered in our email list, and that way I can send you monthly free printables directly to your inbox. Alright guys, so for this next DIY, I'm going to take this red truck Christmas sign from the Dollar Tree. I didn't use it in my Christmas DIYs, but I thought I'd use it to create more of a farmhouse truck. I removed the little string of berries that was strung around the tree, and I also sanded down the Merry Christmas words that were very glittery. And now I'm going to give it 3 coats of rust-oleum chalk paint in the linen white.
Back to what used to be home, passing by those little towns I know so well, stopping for gas and then I'm behind the wheel again, driving this like a spiritual cleanse where every mile is a new beginning and every bend holds a new end.
I decided to add a little bit of like snow-like, frost-like to the tires. No specific reason why, I just thought it would look cute. And then after that was done, I just wanted to use that same green just so that every one of my decors kind of tie in together. I will be adding the snow again with paint, but I just wanted it to lighten up that green. And then once everything was dry, it was time to add a little bit of dimension to the truck. So I thought about using some antiquing wax from our Waverly. And I'm just going to focus on the edges and create some dimension and details on the truck.
In the fast lane life, riding high, reaching for the sky. I had it all but lost and fell back down again. Spent my time playing the...
And as I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to add the snow that was on the tree right back on it. You can still see where it was because it was a little bit glittery, and I painted right over it, so I knew exactly where it would go. And I'm just using the rust-oleum chalk paint in the linen white, and then we'd be done with this one, guys. What a perfect way to reuse this red truck that I just didn't use in my Christmas decor and give it more of a farmhouse neutral colors. I love, love, love.
I'm living fast, I've lost my soul, I'm driving to get away, running through emotions high and low, holding on or letting.
Alright guys, I do also want to remind you that I do have an Instagram page that I post daily in, sometimes multiple times a day, behind the scenes look, little snippets that you will not see on this channel. So go ahead and go down in the description box. I do have the link there for you if you're interested. Alright guys, so next DIY, I'm going to use this scrapped leftover leg from somewhere. I think it was part of a spindle. It wasn't a leg, it was a spindle from a old table that I redid and made it into a sign. And I kept them because, you know, I just always keep everything. I'm going to hot glue an E6000, a lid from a jar from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to then give everything 2 coats of that kutsu Dixie Belle chalk paint.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you.
Alright guys, so we're just about done with this one. Another easy one. So if you do not have a spindle like this one, you can find them all the time, either at the thrift store or at the Habitat for Humanities. Or you can just make your own spindle using different supplies. I love the way this one turned out. I love the color and how simple, you know, just using a lid for a candle. I added one of those tea little candles that have a good shape right on top, and it's from the Dollar Tree. Beautiful.
Makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes.
Alright guys, I also want to remind you that I do have a second channel. It's called Beauty on Purpose at Home, where I share home inspiration, hauls, vlogs, clean with me, decorate with me, all that kind of stuff. Check it out. It is also in the description box. Alright, so for this next DIY, I am going to use this tag sign from our Christmas Dollar Tree stash that I never used. And I'm going to just flip it over and give the backside 2 coats of rust-oleum chalk paint in the linen white, because we're going to create a beautiful farmhouse sign.
Cigarettes on the table, dirty plates on the stove. I don't know if you know where to start, but I know where you'd like to be. I'm afraid that I've lost you, 'cause you're hiding from me.
Once it was dry, I am now going to use this leftover decal from the Dollar Tree. I love using these decals. If you have not used them yet, I highly recommend you use them. It is such a great way to add just phrases and words to signs and decor, and so inexpensive. If you don't have a cutting machine, this is a great way to go. So I have used this, this is just like I said, a portion of this decal, and it fit perfect, guys. I mean, talk about lucky, huh? I'm just going to place it towards the bottom side of the sign. And then once I have that in place, I am just going to start placing some greenery. This greenery is not from Dollar Tree. However, Dollar Tree does carry a lot of greenery that have those simple leaves similar to this one. This is just what I had on hand, but you can certainly use whatever greenery you may have or florals that you may have from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to hot glue them, not directly on the top, but more towards like the middle of the top, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to add a little loose multiple loop bow using jute rope. I got this on Amazon. Again, it's just what I had on hand, but you can certainly use jute twine from the Dollar Tree or even nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. I'm just making a very simple bow, and I'm going to hot glue it right to the center of the greenery.
Yeah, it shows that it's cost you a lot to be like the rest of us, to be like the rest of us. I've been waiting so long for.
And then to finish it off, I'm just going to add more of that jute rope and add it to, or thread it through the little hole. And that's something to be able to hang it from, although I'm not hanging it right as of yet, but I do want that as an option to hang it. And I think this sign turned out absolutely stunning. It has a very bright, just a fresh looking farmhouse style, and I just love the way it turned out.
I know that is in you, I know that is in you, dancing away with the world in your eyes. Oh, goodbye Virginia, goodbye Virginia.
All right, my friends, moving along here. So this next DIY, I'm going to use 4 of these Dollar Tree canvases, and I am going to remove the canvas fabric from it. Now, removing these staples is just, I can't stand it. So I started very motivated and removed all the staples and removed everything. And then after the first one, I was like, okay, I'm done. So I removed the fabric canvas, but I just didn't remove the staples on the back. So sorry about that, but I just didn't want to go through it. It really didn't need it to be removed. So now I'm going to place them all right next to each other to create a window-like, which is what we'll be creating. And I'm going to just hot glue each one to each other and then staple them using my staple gun. And that way it'll be nice and secure. And of course, I am stapling it on the back side. So where the old staples are at, back side. So that way when I flip it over, it'll be nice and seamless in the front. And there it is, a beautiful window form using these canvases frames. So beautiful. Now I am going to give it one coat, but it's going to be a pretty heavy coat of rust-oleum chalk paint in the linen white.
Lost road, crossroad, ocean and sky. So searching, soul hurting, fire and ice. Raindrops, teardrops, a good old cry.
Alright guys, so now I am going to take this wreath form from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to just start putting some of those same leaf picks that I got on Amazon. I'm just going to not even hot glue them. I'm just going to kind of put them right in through that jute twine that is on there. That way I can save the wreath as well as the leaf picks and use them whenever I'm done with this decor. Again, I'm just going to place them all around and create a nice farmhouse style wreath. And I'm going to then add a screw onto the window so that I can hang the wreath from. And boy, did this turn out beautiful, guys. What a beautiful decor using mostly Dollar Tree items. But really, if you don't have these leaves, I mean, Dollar Tree has all kinds of greenery that you can use right on their wreath forms. And look how beautiful it turned out.
Daytime and nighttime, the light makes me blind. Life leaves scars. You're the only one with access to the backstage of my heart. We'll heal the broken parts. You walked this road before.
Alright guys, so for this next DIY, I'm going to use 3 of these foam balls from the Dollar Tree. Now, I got these during the Christmas season, but you can get these year-round in the craft floral section. So, really cool ways. They have different sizes. I'm going to use 2 of the larger ones and then 1 medium-sized one. And I'm going to start by wrapping the first one using nautical rope strands. So what I do is I take the nautical ropes from the Dollar Tree. I separate all the strands, and when you separate them, you get these individual strands that look like a whole bunch of jute twine. And that's exactly what I want this first ball to have, that look. I'm just going to, very easy, just keep going around and around, hot gluing it until the entire thing is covered. For this next ball, I am going to use a mop. I thought about using yarn, but it would have taken me a lot longer. So I think mop did the job. This is from Dollar Tree, a mop that is very simple to remove its strands from. And I'm going to do the same technique. Start very small on the top and then work my way around, hot gluing as I go.
Look out, here she comes. The woman that I love. It's too bad she'll never know. Yeah, I can't tell her how I feel, because she has someone who makes her happy. I'm a ghost in these walls, or at least I try to be. 'Cause I hope that I'm not showing how
And for the final ball, I am going to use some moss. Recently, I created some Christmas decor using moss and I loved it. So I thought it would be really cool to add one more ball using the moss. And again, staying with that fresh green farmhouse style that I've been going with. And same kind of style, I am just going to keep hot gluing section by section, placing the moss. And then towards the end, you just kind of want to just play with the ball. Just press it, making sure, almost like a snowball. You just want to pack it in there so that moss is as packed as possible. And then that's it for that one, guys. Another beautiful, so easy DIY that anybody can make using Dollar Tree items. So easy, and what a great little detail to add to any farmhouse decor.
I've got this picture in my mind. It's just the two of us. Just the two of us.
Alright guys, so I'm just about done with these. Look how beautiful they turned out. Aren't they just fresh looking, natural? I just love them. And I added everything together as I went because everything was very cohesive. And if I were to say which one is my favorite, I would have to say, gosh, this is really hard to choose, but I'd have to say it's the candle holder, the spindle. I just think it's just turned out so beautiful, but so many things are my favorite. I love the window. Tell me in the comments which one is your favorite. I'd love to hear. So this is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. If you're visiting for the first time, I hope you consider subscribing and joining our YouTube family. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I do have another playlist here with tons more farmhouse inspiration for you. Check it out. Have a blessed day, guys. Have fun out there. Be safe. See you next time. Bye.
But I guess that it will pass. Yeah, I can't be the only one who got lost inside.